You have a lot of leads coming in. You have your sales team that's trying to qualify them. The problem is some of these people are not necessarily worth the time of your sales reps when they could be on the call with the ones that were more likely to buy from you. What do you do with this dilemma? There's an idea that we have, and I think you're going to really like it, and it's going to save you a bunch of headache. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. My guest today is Chris Brisson. He's the founder of Sales Message and also of Call Loop. And one of the things that Chris and I have spoken about in the past is about messaging. But in particular today, around the issue I talked about in the teaser, what do you do when you have a bunch of leads or you have leads coming in, but you need your team to focus on actually doing conversations? Can you do something else? And this is where text messages married with AI comes in place. I know it's like mind blowing. He's going to lay out some ideas and some strategies that you can utilize. Now, Chris has been growing companies and he's a creative. He loves the idea of solving problems. And this is the problem that salespeople come across all the time. As we go into the conversation, you'll hear about it. He's also working with other sellers and sales teams on helping them fix this issue. And it's been a game changer for the organization. This is why I thought it made sense for us to have a conversation. If this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of our videos, I encourage you to subscribe and we'll make sure to notify you every time we drop a new piece of content. Today's episode is awesome. It's going to be all around that idea of how we can continue to build a pipeline in an effective way. When we dive in, you'll hear a little bit about this challenge, as well as some of the solutions that Chris has in place. Check it out. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Donald. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive in. Lots to talk about.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I feel like the last time we spoke, we talked about some things that we can do to be more effective, especially with using SMS. But I feel the game has evolved so much, especially when it comes to AI and what we can do in the space and agents and all that fun stuff. I want to dive in heavy on it because everyone is taking advantage of AI in some ways, shape or form right now. You guys started doing this a little bit more to help sellers because I'll give you a quick story. Last week, I spoke to this gentleman. One of the things that he shared was that the most important part in his belief that the sales rep is responsible for is building the relationship and accelerating that deal. Everything else in the early part, not every, but majority of them could be done utilizing artificial intelligence. And then HubSpot the other day, one of my clients had a meeting with HubSpot, and it was for their basic sales CRM. Mm-hmm. She didn't talk to or do a demo with someone. She did a demo with an agent.
Wow.
And the game has totally changed. So I'm trying to look at how can I utilize, or what are some ways that we can utilize AI specifically with SMS and also help take away some of those nuances that salespeople face. I'm here to learn, Chris. I got my paper and pen. Let's go.
Love it. So, I think business today is really getting disrupted from like the communication side. So you probably have already spoken to AI agents, right? Typically it's called an IVR. Well, now you go from an IVR into an agent, and that agent has your knowledge, your brain of the entire business to answer 24/7, but also to follow up over SMS. So one of the things that we're doing at Sales Message is leaning into this future. And so I think inevitably consumers really want the end outcome. And unfortunately, we have this sort of messy middle in between where there's parts of the business can be quote unquote automated. There are parts of the business where, hey, look, I want my sales team to focus on the demo. And so, but all that messy middle to get to a demo. So whether it's outreach or new leads are coming in and, hey, did you call them in 15 minutes? Or, hey, are you engaging with that? You're getting those text messages in, but you're not replying. And so, man, what a world to live in, to where an AI agent can communicate quicker, faster, easier, and do all that qualification up front to capture data, to qualify, and then book meetings. And so as a sales rep, now you're being efficient in the sense that your calendar is full of qualified leads and you're just doing demos, right? The things that are actually going to make you money. And so there's a lot that's happening as a sales rep, but you're letting the ball drop because one, you may not like it. Two, there's a lot. And then how do you keep up with all these little tasks and all these little things? And so I think AI is playing a huge part in the automation of these inefficient things, that the leaky bucket occurs, right? So when a new lead comes in, you're outbounding a text message. That text message is essentially engaging with that lead, qualifying them. That can be 24/7, and getting the right information that you need as a business to qualify a lead to then book it and put it on a calendar. And so AI is playing a huge part in this sort of front end lead engagement, qualification, and essentially booking meetings. So again, the sales rep can see a calendar full of qualified deals.
So, and go back on this, and I'm just curious on it.
Mm-hmm.
But is sales but is text messaging though? Is that becoming? Is there a decrease in response rate to text messages because so many automations are out there, or talk to me about that component, that part.
Yeah, I mean, there also is on the consumer side to where, look, when you're calling me, I'm not picking up the phone. Like, I'm not picking up any call that I don't know. Why? I've gotten burned way too many times. And so the passiveness on a consumer is, hey, send me a text message and I'll reply on my terms. And so we're all getting those text messages. So if it's something you're interested in, so a friend of mine owns a gym, and people that have filled out their form or taken the 7-day trial, they've gone out of their way. They filled out that they want that information. And so if you're just randomly texting people where there is no context and it's at the wrong time, well, yeah, the engagement's going to go down. So all this stuff just goes back to basic principles. So somebody fills out a demo form and you call them, which you should, the likelihood they're going to pick up is pretty low. Why? Because we live in a world where we're not going to pick up a call. But if I get a text message and, hey, it's Donald over at so-and-so. Hey, I'm just a couple of questions. I'd love to understand more about your business. Do you have like a quick second? Right. And you can preempt that over SMS. You can even continue the conversation over SMS to qualify. And so that is right time, right message. It's that is the context around that. So those at the time, sorry, I'm going on a little a jabber over here, but ultimately it comes down to sending the message at the right time to the right contact when they want it most. And so if you think that you can go into a world where you can just blast people and send a message, those days are sort of gone. Everyone is getting texts, and so they're a little bit more attuned to how to avoid those.
So I agree with that part for sure. As far as the wanted text, because as you're explaining this, I'm just thinking about it, especially with Apple's new features that's coming forward.
Yep.
Like there is no I'm a sales guy as well, and sometimes I'll give the benefit of the doubt to someone, but 95% of the time I'm not answering the call. But I do look at those messages. Some companies will send that, but again, if I did send out something to Geico, or I sent something to this agency, and I know that agency is responding, you're right, it does make a little bit difference there. And I feel like I'm in control as a consumer or the prospect, because I'm dictating when I want and what I want to get from you at that point. But so let's go back through this though, Chris. Like, is there this use case? Is it mainly? Do you have any data or any results? Any of your customers that's tried this or using it, or how you guys adopted it, and what are some of the benefits you've seen?
Yeah. So first, we have a framework, right? So a lot of people come in, they think text messaging, I don't know how to use it. So we have a framework called Textize Your Business. And so what this means is you can add texting across the whole life cycle. So from generating leads to qualifying to capturing to booking meetings, to driving revenue, getting reviews, getting all that. So on the front end of this, we have a lot of companies that come in and they have this speed to lead problem. So the traditional way they're going about that is we're calling, we're emailing, maybe we're using our own personal phone, but I really need to scale this out and automate it so I can create these automations and create these conversations on behalf of our team. And it has been transformational for a lot of businesses. So we've worked with F45. We've worked with a lot of well-known companies out there that have installed and implemented text messaging from this lead generation. I mean, it has transformed their business in the sense where they were sort of going, I would say, the old way, and now the new way is leaning into text messaging. And so, there's a company recently that they left an amazing sort of G2 review, and the headline was, "It changed our entire business." And it's just text. So you think like, wow, I mean, just text messaging. We've been doing this forever. But the reality is it's a much simpler way to engage with somebody. So even today, I'm like, all my friends, everybody I talk to, it's text only. Now I do have WhatsApp groups. Those are getting pretty unruly. But texting is the way that we're really connecting. And so for the businesses and the sales reps that are struggling in a sense, right? When somebody is sort of going through a form that is compliant, and they check the box and they go through that, you can text these folks. One of the things I like to say is that whether it's sales message or another platform, but just text them. Like when your email is failing, just text them. So one of the texts you can send to a cold prospect, to somebody, just break out your own phone, send them a text message and say, "Hey, it's Charlie over at X, Y, and Z. Hey, you're still interested in texting for your business? Just wanted to follow up," and see what happens. And in most cases, people feel obligated to reply. Now they may say something else, some other colorful language, but at least gives you the opportunity to engage with them when maybe an email may not. And so if you are the CEO of the company, I do it from time to time. I'll just text some customers, "Hey, it's Chris, just checking in. Hope everything is great. How's it working out for you? How's sales message working out for you?" And the responses I get are immediate. And in many times, I'll take that to a quick phone call. And so that's really the opener, is text message can cut through that. So, "Hey, are you free in 5 minutes?" Or, "Hey, do you have a quick 10 minutes to chat, or quick 7 minutes to chat?" "Yeah, I do actually." And so a text sort of can preempt that phone call that they may have not picked up. But now just that little text can open the ability for them to take your call.
I love this. With the let's say I'm a company, I'm a sales leader. I'm listening to this episode and I'm thinking, man, I can utilize this for the early part of to help my BDRs or to help my team. What should I be mindful of, and what are some of the things I may overlook when going about using text messages or the AI component, for instance?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, text messaging, you have to be compliant. And so the days of getting a phone number and just texting from that number are gone. And to keep the channel, right, texting is a channel, to keep it true and sort of a good channel, the carriers don't want to ruin the channel. And so they added sort of 10DLC compliance. Essentially what that means is you have to be approved to send text messages. So it's a clean lane between you and your customers to have those conversations. So whenever whether it's sales message or another platform, you have to get approved to send those texts. The second part is do an audit of your current business. So you probably already have a opt-in form. You probably already have a checkout or some sort of order taking form, and you may be capturing a phone number. And so if you're doing that, if you're not capturing a phone number on a demo form or a sign up form or whatever it is, add a phone number, right? And explicitly say mobile phone number. And so people can give you a mobile number, and then you just want the compliance language at the bottom, right? So these assets already exist in your business. Now add a mobile form on that. If you have an order form or a checkout form, add a phone number there. So you're already capturing that asset, but you might not be doing nothing with it. Why not turn it into a new asset, a new communication channel? And that already exists. So there's nothing different that you need to do. And so that's the first thing. Do a quick audit, add a phone field to those forms, and instantly now you're engaging and generating those leads. And the one common thing people say is, oh, it's going to reduce my conversion rates. Well, is it a conversion that you're after, or is it a conversation that you're really after? And so, yeah.
That's when that's the argument that I've had with folks. They're like, oh, I don't want to get the phone number. I'm like, bro, you're going to get a dumb email. You're going to get a Yahoo email address then, and good, God bless you. Like give them an opportunity to communicate. I don't see people with tons of phone numbers. They have tons of emails, but they just don't have tons of phone numbers.
And a big part of that too is, oh my gosh, how am I going to chat and conversate with all these people, right? And so that's the perfect place where AI, an agent, can play a part in this engagement at scale. So one of the challenges we face internally too is, hey, we have our team, we're driving a bunch of traffic and driving a bunch of conversations, but man, my team's busy. They're on calls, they're doing this, or engaging with other people and other conversations on intercom, on email. And now we can essentially automate a lot of this front of the funnel conversation side, whether it is customer support. We can feed our knowledge base of all of the information we have on sales message from our article, like our intercom help desk articles. But also we can fill that with sales information. So as a new lead comes in, whether they call, right, we can do a missed call automation to engage with them over SMS. Or if somebody texts in, we get a lot of people that text in to us asking, hey, how does this work? Hey, I've got a team of this. And sometimes if the team isn't there, and this is sort of prior to setting up some of these AI agents, is it would sit there and it would wait hours to get a response. And, time kills deals, right? Time kills any sort of conversation. Well, now you can just add an agent on top of it to engage, have a conversation, but you can capture an email. You can capture a name, capture a company name, and feed that into your CRM, whether it's Salesforce or HubSpot. And so, hey, add these sort of agents where these leaky buckets exist. And now you can focus on the important things, which is doing a demo, right? Calling them, engaging with them. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. And I feel like when you first say something like this, or you say like AI, initially in somebody's mind, I think it's like, and let's speak for me, I might say, well, that's a whole system I have to set up with something else that we have. But like you shared, it's already there. You already have the avenues for it. And especially if a company's getting inbound, your SDRs or someone is taking care of those right now, free them up to do more of the back end stuff. And you could take some of that money that you would have used for that SDR up front while they're closing more deals and dump that into more advertisement or whatever, generate more leads, because your AI can take care of that, help them out even more so. So you can focus on the back end. The other piece I want to look at, Chris, like when it comes to, you mentioned like you got to feed it your information. Maybe a team member is listening to this and they're like saying, crap, well, we don't have a whole bunch of information. How do I help to educate that BDR, so to speak? And how do you guys work with clients on that?
Yeah. So one is, an agent is a brain, and that brain or that agent needs information in order to say the right stuff. And so with sales message, you can feed it your documents, you can feed it your website, and just like ChatGPT, right? You're feeding it all the information about your business. And once it has that information, you can also have it scour the web to get other information. So you're filling that brain with all of that. Now, maybe there's 20 questions people ask that you just want to make sure you have the right answer. Now, one customer we had, they fed the AI agent and was like, oh, it said the wrong address. Your system doesn't work. I'm like, well, the information, what you feed it will it will use the information you gather from it. But the thing with any AI agent is they're going to hallucinate. What that means is you just need to train it, right? It's going to learn as you input the right information. So if a conversation comes through and it didn't say the right thing, well, then just update it and make sure it does say the right thing going forward. So it's like anything, it's sort of like a carving, and you got this block of marble, and over time you start to chip away. Now you've got this beautiful piece, but you have to feed it and curate it and make sure it is saying the right things. So super simple, right? You just give it the information about your business, whether it's pricing or objections, or you want it to capture an email first, or whether you want to capture team size. You just sort of build that out, and it's your brain. It's your engine for conversations, really.
How long before somebody generally start to see result when they implement agents, like in this capacity, the way you're saying it?
Yeah, I mean, instantly. Once you set it up, you can essentially sort of attach that to those new leads coming in. So for example, we have one, and when somebody books a demo, right, we outbound a text message, and essentially we're trying to engage with them to get right to a phone call. Maybe we need to pre-qualify them. So instantly after somebody fills out a form, the agent is engaging with them. When somebody texts into our phone number, so if you go to salesmessage.com, we have a phone number there. So you can call it, you can text it, and an AI agent is on the back end. Now, before it was, hey, we have a phone number on our website, people were calling, and that was a missed call. People were texting, and it would just sit there. And so now it's like, I need an agent to pick up whether it's support or whether it's sales, and then we can triage and push that to the right team. And so like, that's just a leaky bucket. Everybody's getting missed calls. Everybody's not responding fast enough. It's the perfect place to just layer on an agent. And again, this whole agent stuff is brand new, but the majority of people are really using it for this conversational two-way texting side of things. So whether it is on the lead gen, whether it is moving a deal, further down the pipe, or whether it is driving revenue. I mean, SMS, mass text messaging, is one of the number one revenue channels for a lot of businesses. And so to negate, and I've been doing this quite a long time, in the messaging space for almost 15 years. And everyone always comes in like, man, I've got a list of 10,000 people. Can I start to text them? And the reality is they may or may not have given consent to receive texts. So that's just one thing to be clear about is, if you don't start today, you're going to look back in a week, in a month, in 6 months, in 12 months, like, man, I should have started sooner. And so this is the time to really install messaging into your business, because that is how everybody is rolling, whether it's text, whether it's WhatsApp, right? All of these different messaging channels are the in the pocket conversation.
Here's last one I have a question on. You mentioned about advancing deals. How does that work with your with text messaging? So a sales company here, we have somebody that you have deals in a pipe. How can I use an agent to help advance those deals?
Yeah, well, we all have stalled deals, right? And the way in which you're engaging or reaching out is maybe call them, right? Maybe you're emailing them, and maybe they ghost you. And so a text is just that nudge. Hey, Chris, just checking in. Hope all is well. You're just sort of advancing that conversation, just a little bump, a little nudge. I mean, I imagine, Donald, you've done a lot of deals over the years, and a lot of deals have maybe taken over on SMS. And so we all have sort of had these engagement moments. So we've all experienced it. It's just, how can we now turn that into an actual system? How do we turn it into a process, or a whole team is using it to our advantage, and not on a whim, but creating it in our workflow, creating it in the way in which we're engaging with those deals to move things along. Also too, I mean, group texting, hey, who else do we need to bring into this? And group texts are another way to sort of get everyone at the seat of the table to move it through. One cool thing that maybe you've seen this, but in the last maybe 6 months or so, we started working with this like SOC 2 company, and instantly on that call, one, he's like, "Hey, can we text you?" "Yep, you can text me." "Hey, by the way, can we set up a Slack channel too?" I was like, "Oh," and that like, just those little things is like, how do you open up channel? Because if your only channel is email and your only channel is call, you're missing out, So
Yeah.
getting early on, whether it's a Slack channel, an SMS, and engaging with them in those ways, you're just increasing your chances.
Chris, this was so cool, man. I'm listening to this and I'm thinking I want to test this out. How do I? What's your? How do I get a hold of you? How do I? Let me guess. I'm gonna have to text you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't call me,
What's
just
the
text
best way
me.
to get? What's the best way to get a hold of you, Chris?
Yeah, go to salesmessage.com. Check out the app. If you want to give it a shot, it's a 14-day trial. The first thing you'll have to do is just get approved, right? It's a simple little process. You get approved in a day or two, and you can start to text, whether it's a local number or toll-free number. If you want to do mass texting, we do that as well. It's also a calling tool. So a lot of companies can consolidate it into one. And then I'm on LinkedIn. So me personally, if you want to engage, send me a message on LinkedIn. I always love to chat and connect up. But yeah, and the interesting thing is, it's got sales message in the name, and it is a sales tool, but it's so much more than that. And so to sort of install it across the business is where most companies see a lot of success. But one use case, one problem, one primary issue, just do that. Whether it's sales message or another tool, if you're not using texting, you're a little bit behind. So I would just suggest to start now, because you don't want to look back in 6 months and say, "Man, we should have done that. We should have had a form that's compliant." So
Love it, Chris.
yeah,
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. Truly appreciate it.
Donald, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Ooh wee! I'm telling you, man, that was some good stuff. If you haven't done so already, I'm sure some of you have been. Go ahead and text Chris, or you can go ahead and check him out on LinkedIn. Take advantage of the things that is sharing here, because I'm telling you, it actually does work. And what we've found in the past, when we've had a lot of leads come through, it's so tedious to go in and to try to convert each of those different leads. But once you have a tool like Sales Message that can be in a background, just helping to converse 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's fed all of your information on your company, it makes it so much easier for the deals to be able to progress and go forward. So I highly recommend you check it out. Tell them you heard them here on the Sales Evangelist. And if you're looking for ways to just improve your skills, you feel like I need help with my objection handling, or maybe your opener when you're doing cold outreach, or perhaps when you're doing a discovery call with some of these leads, how do you make it better? That's where our mastermind comes in. And you can find more detail about that by going to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. We have a new group starting in September, and I would love to have you join us. Again, find more details. Go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind and check it out. Listen, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking, go out and do big things. See you in the next one.